I have started to feel like, I said I want to do a thing, opportunity presented itself. I've started doing it. And then that part of you that's like, holy crap, I'm really doing this. And is it going to be received? And we kind of talked about it before, how I was like, I'm learning to not worry about the results. Just if the goal is to do the thing, and whatever else happens after that. But, if I'm being honest, there are some other things that I want to happen as a result of this. And, that's when those feelings of, can you really do this? So that's how I got to talking about fear today. And then when I opened my phone, and the Bible verse was Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans that I have for you. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. And I felt like that was God saying to me, like, girl, go. Because I said, if you watched an earlier video, that I felt like I am finally doing the thing that God has given me to do. And I'm just learning that because you are given the ability, the skill set, the opportunity to do a thing, that it doesn't mean that it's not going to come without any hardship. But that doesn't mean that you are not still to do it. So I am pressing forward with fear. And I think that it took me a long time to get comfortable with doing things, because if you know me, you may not believe it, but once upon a time I was really shy. And I might as well come out and say I am a self-proclaimed nerd, albeit cool and cute and all that kind of stuff. I'm kind of nerdy, so I always felt like the things that I was interested in was not what all the kids in the neighborhood were doing. Even now, I don't know. I mean, I'm a little older, so that's okay. But even, during my time, I wasn't always up on what everybody else was doing. When I was 16, my curfew was still 9 o'clock. So the party didn't start jumping till 10. My dad would be like, well, you got like 30 minutes. You better hurry up and get there, because... So, my experience I'm not even going to say based on that, because it might have been a whole lot of other kids that had to come in the house when the street lights came on as a teenager. But I've always felt like, or maybe I hit myself a little bit, because I felt like they might not really be able to relate to me, or they might think I'm corny because, I don't know all of the, whatever the thing is. Over time, I started to become more comfortable with myself, and it was just kind of like, if you like the thing I'm on, cool. If you don't and you want to learn about it, cool. If you don't care about it at all, that's cool too. I like me. But I really learned the power of yes, probably coming out of my like mid-20s, coming out of that, rolling into 30, because I just kind of felt like, who do I want to be? And I remember my Aunt Shorty. So again, she's going to be a thing. You hear about her a lot. She would always say stuff like, girl, don't you let no grass grow under your feet. Because there was a time, again, if I wanted to do something and I didn't have anybody else to go with me, I wouldn't go. And she was like, why? I wasn't going to the movies by myself. I'd go sit up at a restaurant by myself and eat by myself And people think I'm some kind of loser that I can't even find one friend to come sit with me and eat. If you go to dinner by yourself, I am not calling you a loser, but that is what I thought about myself. And she was just like, why? And I was just kind of like, because I don't, it might look crazy. People might think I'm weird, that I don't have no... It took me a minute, but then I started doing those things by myself. I started pushing myself to do things that were uncomfortable. So I started to go to the movies by myself, because really, once I thought about it, like, you can't talk to nobody in here really anyway. So everybody here doing the same thing. I started going to the restaurant by myself, and I would make it my business to not sit at the table. I would sit at the bar. Just because I'm kind of putting myself out there, and not because I was looking for a guy necessarily, but just to be more personable. It helped me with my communication skills, and I started saying, whoever I'm sitting next to, I'm going to spark up a conversation. And it led me to some really interesting experiences. The first one I would have to say was when I took a trip to Pennsylvania, and I went to a zip lining treetop course and whitewater rafting. So the treetop course, they, you get all harnessed up. And I'm like, this is cool, it's harness, all right. I'm thinking zip line, you go from one end to the other. They had a whole course that is like 40 feet in the air. So they have the ropes that you can hold on to, and they have the planks that you can walk on, but it's a course. So sometimes it might be like 2 planks, then a space, then 1 plank, then a space, and then 2 more planks. Or it's like space, plank, space, like all. I'm going to tell y'all the truth, because I was about to tell a lie. I was about to say I'm 5 feet. I'm 4'11". I couldn't stand like this and hold on to both of them ropes. So I had to hold on to one rope. So I'm like, get through the course. And, when you think you're done, you got to like climb down and go over to somewhere else. Fun. But at the time, I'm like, I cannot believe I let my friend talk me into this, because we were both in the same place. We weren't working. It was summer. So we were like, let's go do something fun, to really stretch ourselves, get out of our comfort zone. And we decided to do this. I'm like, I cannot believe I let this girl talk me into this. So I do the treetop course. The zip line is like, I don't know how many feet across, but I think they said at one point we were 25 miles an hour on the zip line. Because it's like far. It's not like a little zip line. It was a long zip line. I remember like in the middle, I'm just like, I really want to get to the other side. I'm ready for this to be done. And at this point, it's like you can't climb down anywhere. So you just have to go across. Did that. And I'm like, it's cool. And then we finished that, and then we go to the whitewater rafting, and they kind of give you the whole course. If you fall off, keep your feet down, the rocks, so you don't hit your head. I'm like, all right, cool. It's a level maybe 3, so that it's not too bad. So, we on there, it's a couple turns and things, and we're just like, ha, ha, ha. Right before we get to the end, I'm sitting in the front. My friend is sitting on the other side. I think it's like 5 of us in the raft. I could see the end. And, we all have our paddles up because, they're like, get ready to take the picture. We get ready to go. I don't know where this rock came from. This thing popped up out the ground. We hit the rock. Who's sitting in the front? Little old me. Falls out, fly up in the air, fall out the raft. My friend, I could see as I'm falling, like I'm up in the air, as I look, because I'm like, holy crap, I am falling out into the rapids now. Everything else was kind of cool. I'm falling into the rapids. I could see my friend. She's getting ready to jump in the water, trying to grab me. And somebody is like, no, no, no. And then I hit the water. I'm like, Lord, I don't want to die today. All I remember is like, I come up, back down, come up, back down. And in my mind, so I remember my dad just saying, in any situation, try to keep yourself calm enough so you can think. Because, if you remain calm, you could think your way through any situation. So I'm like, all right, because I'm panicking, thinking I'm about to drown because the water is fast, it's rushing all on my face. I'm coming up, I'm going down, I'm thinking I'm going to drown. And I'm like, calm down. Remember, they said, make sure you keep your feet straight and out so that if you hit a rock, you hit it with your feet and not head first and hit it, your head hit a rock. So I'm like, all right, keep your feet up. And still, because they tell you, don't try to get up. What I do? Try to get up. It ain't work. So I'm going down, my life is flashing, and I'm still thinking, how far am I going to fall? And then, anytime you see whitewater rafting, you think the cliff, you're going to fall down into some. So I'm like, I do know how to swim, but this is probably really going to test me. So just get ready for the drop. Drop comes and it's into calm waters and it's the end. And I was, at this point now, I could just kind of stand up. So then, everybody else is on the raft and they come down now and they're like getting out and they're like, girl, you okay? How was it? You all right? And I'm like, that was amazing. All the things that I thought, all the fear that I had while I was going through it, out the window. We laughed and now she's talking about, girl, I was about to jump out the raft and come get you. They pulled me. And we just had such a good time. And I remember on the ride home, like, I am so glad that I said yes to something that I said yes before I really gave it any thought. And I think that's really what helped me, because if I would have done what sometimes we do, well, let me go look and see what it is and go look at some pictures. If I would have done that, I probably would have said no, because I would have been like, 30, what? How are you doing this? But I said yes. And I'm so glad that I did, because it really stretched me in a way to make me feel like it was so uncomfortable going into it. There were times where I was thinking like, I don't know, but I went forward and I did it anyway. And it did something for me to make me feel like just a little bit higher on that notch of invincibility, if you will. Like, I could do some hard, scary stuff. And it just kind of makes you kind of sit up a little bit more straight. Like, yeah, I did that. Mm-hmm. And I think the second time where I really stretched myself, I was going on a trip. Shout out to Evita and her wonderful tribe of travelers that she created with No Madness. I was going on a trip to Bali, and I had decided that I was going to take a 2-week trip. That same friend, I called her in the morning like, girl, wake up, where you at? Because now we all on this adventure stuff. We was going to do that. We were going to go on a trip. We were going to go skydiving. So I'm like, girl, I found these tickets. I don't know how long it's going to be. You got to wake up so we can get these tickets. She didn't answer the phone, so I just went ahead and booked it, because, now I'm falling into the power of yes. So if you want to do something, don't really think about it too much. Just go. So I booked the trip. She called me back like an hour later. I'm like, girl, I checked. The tickets is gone. It's not even there no more. So she's like, oh, man. And I said, well, I'm going. And then I was talking to some people in the group to find out if they had any tips about, anybody else who had gone already, suggestions of places to go. And someone else was like, I'm going to be there around the same time. So let me know, we could kind of hook up the second week that you're there. So I'm talking to her and she's like, yeah, me and my girlfriend are traveling. So do you mind? I'm like, no, it's cool. So as we're getting closer to the time we're supposed to go, she's like, I don't think my girlfriend's going to be able to go. So it's just going to be you and I. And I'm like, yeah, cool. And then it's probably like a week out. And she's like, I had to have, she scratched her cornea in her eye. And she's like, I don't know if I'm going to get cleared to fly. So I'm waiting for my doctor to see whatever. But, you know, I don't know if I'm going to be able to go. But I just kind of want to give you the heads up. So now I'm kind of like, girl, I hope that doctor say you could go. Because I'm thinking like, I'm going to go somewhere for 2 weeks by myself. And then like 2 days before, she's like, girl, I don't know if I'm going to be able to go. And I'm like, I'm going to be praying for you, girl. I hope. So I'm like, I'm going to be praying for you. I hope you could go. And she's like, I'll let you know. So the night before, she messages me and she's like, I'm not going to be able to go. The doctor didn't clear me. So I'm like, all right. So she had booked the next place. So she's like, I'm going to send you the itinerary and all that kind of stuff, confirmation number, so you have it. Because what I was going to do was I was going to spend a week in Ubud, Bali, and then I was going to go to Seminyak the next week. So I tell my parents, you know, the girl I was going with, she's not going to be able to go because she had surgery and she didn't get cleared by her doctor. So my mom is like, so what are you going to do? Cancel your trip? I'm like, no, I paid that money. I'm going. So let me just, I paid $750 maybe for a trip that was going to take me to, I think it was Tokyo, Singapore, Bali, Seoul, Hong Kong, or maybe it was Hong Kong and not Tokyo, and then back home for $750 over 2 weeks. Cancel it? No. So I'm like, nah, I'm going. So my parents are a little nervous, but they're kind of like not wanting to say like, I don't think you should go. So now I'm getting ready to leave for my flight in the morning, and I'm like, I'm really doing this. And let me just say, part of the reason why I wanted to go to Bali, because I had seen Eat, Pray, Love with Julia Roberts, and she went, and you know, it's the whole thing. If you didn't see the movie, watch it. So I'm going there because I'm going to have my own Eat, Pray, Love moment, right? And I'm like, well, I guess this is it. So I get up, I go, and I remember flying to, so first, it's like 30 hours. It was like a 30-hour flight altogether to finally get to Bali. I think it was like maybe 16 hours to get to Singapore. So I get there and it's late. And there is no one in this airport. I mean, nobody. The stores are like, the gates are down. I don't even see like a person cleaning or anything. And I call my parents